Jack is such an integral part of This Is Us. And although he's just a memory at this point, so as we move deeper into the future, are we going to see less of Jack now that the big three don't really need to reminisce so much anymore?
I don't know. I'm kind of the wrong guy to ask that question of. I think that's more for Fogelman or the writers. But I do understand that we've spent so much time with Jack, so much time with him as a father, so much time with him as a husband, so much time of him as a friend and a soldier. We've seen his shortcomings through alcoholism and his perseverance and his struggle through that. Um, Knowing all of that we have had very Jack centric storylines that are discovery for just him. I'm also perfectly okay sitting in a role that is supporting the stories of Kevin, Kate, and Randall, supporting stories and past from his marriage to Rebecca, the memory even that Miguel has of his best friend. So I'm sure maybe to the audience it may feel like we're missing a little bit of Jack, but I think almost like that speech that Kevin gave to his nieces in season 1 and episode 5, everyone's always a part of the painting. No one ever leaves it. So, whether it's one scene where Jack pops up and makes an impact or something, or if it's just literally a memory, or it's something that's much larger, I think Jack will always be around all the way until the very, very, very last moment of the show.
Everyone talks about the gems that Jack is dropping, but is there another character? It could be Jack, but is there any other character that you feel like you've personally learned from?
On the show, all of them. I mean, kind of sitting at the very top of that though is always William. There was something that really impacted me deeply when he was still alive and he was having a conversation. I think it was with an actress that Kevin brought home for a dinner. It was played by Janie Montgomery, and I think she was like, "What's it like to die?" She was asking as like a performer, and he was answering as a human being. And he said, "It's like trying to hang on to smoke." And how he's always just trying to hang on to those experiences best he can and embrace them. I think that's something that reaffirmed a way that I try to live. I really try to hang on to the experiences and be present and not look too far in the future, not too long in the past. But I think William has been a bigger impact on me, thinking about it. But also, strangely, I can relate to Kevin. I can, relate to Randall stuff. I can relate to Kate, and even the love that Jack shared with Rebecca. I've been in those moments myself. So I don't know. I think there's something to learn from every character, and it's not just the character.
If anyone from the cast were to actually be an alien here on Earth, who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. Instinctively, the first person that comes to my mind is Alan, just simply because he's so freaking good as Harry. His choices that he makes, like sometimes as an actor, you watch another actor perform. It's kind of like an athlete. You know what I mean? When you feel like, oh, I could do that. You know what I mean? Well, I could make that shot or I could throw that pass or whatever. But seeing some of the choices that he's making they're so unique and unorthodox and perfect for Harry. But probably Levi, maybe Alice as well. We're all a little weird.
We're all aliens.
I think that's one of the things that makes it work a little bit is that we're all a little weird in all the right ways, and our showrunner Chris is really good at allowing us to tap into that weirdness and bring it to our characters.
Just for any fans or potential fans who don't know the show yet, what do you think brings viewers to the show? What's your favorite part about being on it?
For me, the thing that's been exciting is the kind of the high sci-fi concept is bringing people in, but then the kind of spookiness of it is catching people off guard a little bit, and it caught me off guard a bit. I think it's far spookier on screen than it may be read in the script. So that's been kind of a nice surprise, is each episode feels like there's some genuinely scary moments or uncomfortable moments at least. So I think that's a really cool element of it. Obviously, drawn in by the idea of this debris that's landing all over the world, and each piece has different properties. So you know that there's going to be a different mystery and a different adventure each episode. But then there's also going to be kind of almost like the modern version of the space race, that each country and each government and non-government are trying to get control of this new technology. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would echo that. The show is eerie is a word I keep using as friends write back, which is an interesting word. It's very specific, something eerie. It's not quite scary, and it's not quite strange. It's in that sweet spot between. And other friends of mine have noted, as they've texted me about the show, there's like a melancholy, a kind of a torpor that kind of hangs over the show, and I love that. I think it's really beautiful. You can't help but watch it in the time that we're in, which is this bizarre, isolating, scary time. And so the show feels, for all the fiction and the science, it feels real to me. What they're, in that episode last night, that opening shot with the guy breathing in the air and then, collapsing, his lungs collapsing. I got the hairs on my arm stood on end. It's it seemed like some sort of a parable for what we're living through. And because of Finola's quest to sort of come to terms with her grief over her father, there's this kind of like low-level grief that kind of underpins the show. And that's interesting in the show about science fiction, IT and, time travel and all these science concepts, that underneath it is this kind of broken-hearted young woman is very beautiful to me.
Jocko, I have a question for you. Is there any chance that Dr. Reynolds and Dr. Bloom will become a thing? Fans want to see this.
That's a good question. There's a lot of fans that want to see that, and there's a lot of fans who don't. We are just damned if we do, damned if we don't, aren't we? Yeah, that said, I can't reveal if there will be any sort of love or romance there now or in the future with Reynolds and Bloom. But what I will say is what is apparent this season is that there are a lot more scenes and they're going to spend a lot more time together, which is very nice after an entire season of sort of drifting apart. So they will spend some time together and figure some stuff out.
Okay.
If Jocko won't tell you, I'll just tell you. They get together. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I don't know.
Parris was like, what?
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so the series is ending, which fans are, of course, so sad about. But what was your proudest takeaway from playing such a strong woman like Teresa?
I think it was an honor, definitely an honor to be able to play a character for so long. I've never done TV before I did this show. It was my first television experience, and not in my biggest dreams it would last for 5 seasons. So it's been such a blast and an honor to play a character that I was already a fan of the book when they invited me to do the pilot for the show. And to be able to play someone that is a strong woman, that is a Latina, that is someone that doesn't victimize herself on TV, it was just a blast. So I'm definitely taking that with me for the rest of my life.
Amazing. And also, you and Peter have such an intense chemistry. Fans love this duo. You guys really are great. So I just want to know, what can we expect from the rest of the season with you two?
Oh my God, a lot. I think like he is definitely her ride or die, and so much goes on. I mean, like they say goodbye, he goes away. Then we see on season 4 that he comes back in a very unexpected way, and then we carry on season 5 with so much going on because there's a lot going on in Teresa's plate because she's rising up in the business, and he's been a mentor her entire life. So how they can, you know, deal with these new phases in their lives where their relationships is so hard because love in a business like the drug business is not possible. So there's so much going on in their relationship. I think the fans are going to like it. I'm excited about the reactions.
And then where do you go from here? I know you said this was your first time doing TV. Are you looking to get back into more film after this, or keeping this going?
I mean, it's so funny because I after Teresa, it's been such a long ride. And while I was playing Teresa, while I was doing Queen of the South, I kept doing some movies along the road. So it's been really, really interesting to find a desire of what is next after 5 years playing that same character. And I'm really excited to a character that it challenges me in any way possible. I think as an actress, I want to explore new things.
I wanted to know if Halstead or Voight will be getting a love interest. I that's something different for these characters.
Jesse.
Well, Halstead and Voight have been making eyes at each other for a while now.
A blind man can see how I feel about you.
Yeah, in the last couple episodes, we've, Halstead confessed that he loved Upton, and we've been playing that out. We had someone else ask earlier that why aren't we seeing that? Did that stop happening? Are they still seeing each other? And the answer to that is, even though it's not happening in an episode, it doesn't mean it's not happening behind the scenes, and we're all keeping those storylines tracking, and you'll see more of that further down the road.
Yeah. Voight, love interest? No, I think the truth is, his heart and focus is consumed with Chicago and keeping it safe. And I think he's kind of, I suspect there may be a time where he will, get hit by a bow and arrow, but maybe not. We'll see. It's not something, a lot of us think about those things a lot, and as I understand Hank Voight, that's not something that he's consumed with. Most of us think about that a lot, and he does not, which I find is an interesting part of him, and it adds to a lot of who he is, because it's rare to find a person like that, and it's a conscious choice as I tried to create the guy, but we're all vulnerable too.
So in these past few years, in the real world, there's been a growing distrust towards police and the police department. Do you guys feel as actors that you guys are taking it personally now when someone criticizes the actions of police officers?
Me? No.
Yes, I don't.
No, I don't take it personally. I don't take it personally when they criticize my character either, or my, that's, I welcome, I want people to be honest, and I can't imagine that everybody's gonna love everybody. But what we try to do, what we try to do is play real people that are in this situation, and it's a difficult situation, and try, one of the things is that we try to look at it, I do anyway, and I push the creators to as well, is that there's not good guys and bad guys. There's people, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad, and there's always just a shade of gray. It's not black and white, and
this is a cop viewpoint show, but I want to understand the robber, you know, and I want to understand the cop when why does he make this mistake? You know, simply just to say, you know, he's a bad guy, it's pretty boring. You know, it's what got him to do this thing that this guy watching it might say that was the right thing to do. Another guy might say it's the wrong thing to do. It's for you. We want to it's about what you think, not what I think. I guess that's important. And if we can stimulate you to ask a question, maybe you can learn and change, or at least be interested and entertained, you know.
But are you guys into making playlists? And if so, what is your like ultimate mood booster song that's got to go on this playlist?
I mean, I definitely make playlists for sure. Mine's always like random songs that I hear. I'm like, oh, like I like that or something.
Alice is also an amazing songwriter.
He's my publicist.
and she's an amazing songwriter, and is actually going to release a new music video this Friday, actually.
Yes.
That she shot while she was up here, and she shot another one up here before, and she's incredible. So my playlist would be her song, which I do constantly find myself singing. Right? You know I do.
I paid him to say this.
Awesome.
Anyway, but I don't make playlists because I used to like burn CDs. Remember that?
I do.
But all my playlists are all just musicals and Billy Joel. So my playlists are kind of boring.
Mine's a little like random. Like I love Right now I'm listening to a lot of Why You Always in a Mood? Acting like recommend you. They're babies, but the song is so good. They're babies. I was like,
how old are they?
They're like 20. They're like 20, 21. But their songs are so good.
What are they called?
They're two artists. They're like two of them.
Like 4K and something.
Yes.
Right? Steven, Dr. Archer is really shaking things up. And fans do not seem to be loving it at the moment. They seem to either hate it or love to hate it. So I just want to know, is there going to be some changes for the remaining episodes? Are we going to start to like Dr. Archer, or is it going to be one of those characters that we just hate the whole time?
No, I think if anybody has a heart and soul, they will see that this guy can be tough and flinty on the outside, but warm and gooey on the inside, you know. So we'll see. I don't know 100% where they're going to take this guy, but there are also indications that he's this dichotomy. Yeah, he can be off-putting in one moment and then do something that's kind of laudable in the next. So we'll see. You know, they're not tried and true. He's not perfect. You know, like Ethan Joy.
No, Ethan has fallen into that same particular dynamic, I think, because of the position and the choices he has to make in his background and what he's rooted from. It's heavy as the crown. You have to make hard choices to try to do the right thing in that particular sense. And I think Steven has worn that crown many a times. Unfortunately, right now, it has shifted in a different dynamic within our characters. And I think that's what's really profound as far as our relationship and as far as the storyline is concerned, and it kind of existing in Chicago Med. I think it's really cool to create that particular conflict with all of those assets to be able to work with.
Thank you. You guys found a way to cheat death in a way. It makes me think of Final Destination. I don't know if you guys seen that movie. And when they cheat their death, it's always a bad thing. So will this backfire at all for anyone?
The only one who survived their death date, until the end of season 2 was me. That's an interesting idea. I haven't thought about Final Destination. Zeke comes back sort of reborn, but he doesn't come back completely normal. He doesn't have callings anymore, but he does have this other sort of supernatural thing that he has to deal with now. So a lot of season 2 or season 3 story for Zeke is like him trying to get a sense of normalcy in his life and in his relationship, which is something he didn't have in his sort of previous life.
Yeah, and it's interesting, especially for Michaela and Zeke, because they bonded over this shared experience. And then in season 3, it's not quite as shared, but it is in other ways, which is better in a lot of respects. But it's still a dynamic that they're having to navigate in bad ways as well.
And I know we're still in season 3; they're just getting started. But it seems that they're already revealing so many answers that we've had from season 1 and 2. So do you guys know at all if there will be a season 4 or if everything will be addressed in season 3?
Oh, I hope season 4. I'd love to continue telling the story. I think at the end of season 3, the audience is going to be really shocked. Really shocked. So if it leaves the audience there, I think we'll get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the fans would be really upset for sure. We don't know about season 4 yet, but hopefully, it won't be too long before we find out. Once the show starts airing, we'll see how I get, the networks always want to see how it does, and fingers crossed we keep our audience and maybe even grow some. We've got a new date and time. And that everybody's really excited about that. So hopefully that helps us out even more.
Mm-hmm.
Fans are, of course, expecting a hashtag way hot wedding. And I just want to know, are we finally going to be seeing that? Are we getting that now?
Tim? I'm panicking. I'm hot.
Listen, I don't remember.
You plead the fifth?
I don't remember. Mel just had to remind me that I was playing Freddie Mercury. I can't be.
That too. I think it's safe to say that I had an incredible time filming the last few episodes of the season, and I think it's some of the best stuff we've done on the show, and I think our fans are incredible and we'll be very happy.
All right. Okay.
I'm so sorry, that was a garbage question.
I agree with 90% of that.
Oh, tell me more. What do you disagree with?
Nothing. I just wanted to, we can't leave it be perfect.
Yeah. We can't get along.
Thank you, though. I know I put you on the spot. Was there anything surprising or interesting you learned about The Rock after being a part of Young Rock?
Yeah, there was a lot that surprised me about him. The fact that he grew up poor most of his life, I wouldn't have expected that. I didn't know it. He played, wanted to pursue an NFL career. I didn't know that he used to steal everything he would see. No, but yeah, it's a lot. I think most people are surprised by it so much because all we know is the mega movie star. Right.
Yeah, for me, I think it was just a revelation to hear the actual relationship that Andre had with little Dwayne, and I wasn't aware of that, and so that was a whole thing. So that was kind of my first question to Dwayne was, what was the real relationship like? And and he was very eloquent in explaining how he was like Uncle Andre. He was a guy that was always around, and so he had a really cool relationship with him. So that was really nice. It kind of elevated my character right away, just knowing that was real.
Because you are both playing real characters, but it is a comedy. So how often do you guys have the freedom to improv if you like? And are you worried ever to offend your actual person that you're playing?
Well, with comedy, I know it's a big rule of thumb to stay as close to the words as possible. These writers spend so much time going over these words and going over these jokes that's how they wanted to say. But we are playing real people. And there were times like I would, when I was talking to Dwayne, I was like, what's something your dad would always say, or what's something that he would always do? And he would say, oh, he would say this a lot. Then I would go back to Jeff. I was like, hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but Rocky would say this. It was like, oh yeah, we'll add that. So there was a lot of freedom that I was given to do that, but I try to respect my writers as well.
Yeah, it's a tricky part because you know, Andre's no longer with us, just like Rocky. But there is a great communication that you have to have. You know, like Joe said, the writing is so important, and you don't want to step on toes. But at the same time, both Notch and Jeff Walker gave me, as Andre, the ability to sort of come to them at any point and say, "Hey, Andre might do this," or "Andre might say that," or you know, just even incorporating, he used to say boss to everybody, which was something that wasn't on the page. But as we went along and sort of did more research and found out that he used to call everyone boss. So that was something that I was able to incorporate. Just little things like that that made it more authentic was cool. And again, having the relationship with the director that you can sort of go, can I try this? Or is it okay to incorporate that sort of feel? That's huge, and that's something that you don't get every day, you know, when you're on a set. And so that's nice to have, especially for a first year.